What's going on, guys? Let's get a look at a few knives. First up will be my Spyderco Bowie. Just wanted to show it off in the natural light. The review was posted inside, so not that great of lighting. I like it a lot. Love this color combo here. Deep bronze, light bronze, goldish almost. Heat anode hardware. And then tied it off with this tan paracord lanyard. Alright. That is a pretty bronze. Let's move on. Here's one almost like it. I completely redid this one. This is a Ray Laconico custom. Just breathe some new life into it. So this had to be bead blasted. And then I did this is not quite a nuke. This is more like a subtle stonewash. Light stonewash. But anyways, I bead blasted it. Gave it a Hinderer working finish, basically. Blasted titanium. Tumble it. And then by the time you multi-etch and then anodize, you get a stonewash finish. But it's not quite as hardcore, I guess, as you would say a nuked knife. So you can see the difference here. Right, just a little more subtle. This is a little more beat and banged up. This is what I would call a double nuke, for lack of a better term. This is like an anodized working finish here. And we bronze anodized the hardware, heat anodized. This is a gorgeous knife. Very smooth. Perfect. Just perfect. I don't like to flick other people's knives, but I promise you this thing is just smooth as everything. Left the blade completely satin, just how it was from maker. Ray Laconico. Fits in your hand nice. Gorgeous knife. So, showed you a peek of the 25. This is my 25. It was time to refurbish it. Although I had a commission piece here for how this used to be. And I don't know if I made the right decision. I love them both. So I did mine in like the purple bronze nuke. And then this is the fade. And I wanted to show you something while we have both of these together here. This is a newer generation. I can't remember what the handles were stamped. Check out that fade. It's very subtle and it may not come across on camera, but it really does have a green tone, and then the corners fade out to the bronze. And then it fades out near the ends here, and then there is like bronze streaks in it. You see how gorgeous that clip come out? And the anodized hardware, heat anodized. I do not cut any corners, so this is not just your factory hardware that has been heat anodized. I have to protect your pivot, all the barrels and everything, and then I blast them much like I would for a nuked hardware. And then I chucked them all up in the drill press and satin rubbed them, and that's how you get that matte anodized look. So if they were shiny and you just rubbed the Scotch-Brite wheel over them, they would still look a little shiny with like scratches in it. But once you matte them up with the bead blasting, it gives you that more of a matte look, and I just feel it matches the overall feel of the knife. You know, it's a lot of work for something that somebody may not even really notice, but I think subconsciously everybody notices it. You know, it's the details. So this is a newer generation. You can tell this stop pin, you can actually take it all the way out. See the screw on the back side here? Whereas mine is one of the first ones, I believe, that was up for sale. This was a pre-ordered one before they even come out. So you see that was a press fit stop pin. The newer generations are much easier to anodize. when you have steel inside your tank and you're trying to anodize it and that's all pressed in there, it draws voltage off. So much easier to do the second gens. There you go, Sebenza 25s. Next up, we have a small Hinderer factory non-flipper. Probably one of the last few to leave the factory. Actually, I don't know. I don't know how long this knife has been in the owner's hands, but they don't make them anymore, so this will be a rare bird. It probably already is. Put a working finish on the blade. Notice no logo on there. Older generation. And put a working finish on all the titanium. And then by the time you anodize it, and well, working finish is blasting, stonewashing. And then by the time you do the multi-etch and then anodize, just like the Laconico and just like my Bowie, there's still a stonewash underneath it, but it's real subtle, but it's definitely there. But it's not quite like a nuke, like we just went over earlier. So, I guess I'll just call this an anodized working finish. And again, I've said this a bunch of times, but sometimes just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Of course, if you're the owner and you're commissioning me to do the work on it, you have the ultimate say-so, obviously. But the owner sent this to me, had the titanium screws. So these back are titanium, which means we could have anodized them and I could have matched the handle perfectly. But just me personally, and the owner felt this way as well, to leave it like this. So the hardware has been done with a working finish as well. So I blasted it and then stonewashed it. So just because I could anodize this to match the handle, I don't think it would have fit the knife as well as this does. This pulls that working finish all the way from the front, down the handle, down the back, and then with the monochromatic subtle stonewash, right, it really pops these copper accents off. It's almost like a fine pinstripe placed at the perfect spot on a nice hot rod or a car. You guys know what I'm talking about. Something that just, it's not too much, it's not overkill, it's like just enough. I think it works really well on this, especially with the bronze color tone. It pulls your eye in, makes you want to look at it a little bit more, because you don't even really see it, you know, not even from here, until you kind of see that, and then you see the angle and you can see this. Does it make any sense? Or am I talking nonsense? Gorgeous. I would love to find a titanium top scale for a small Hinderer. I've got a few friends looking for them as well, so we could probably get it sold for you if you have one you want to sell. The small Hinderer titanium top. Let me know, JohnsonKnives@gmail.com. Also wanted to say, while I have these Hinderers out, here's my Hinderer. I have it out here for demonstration purposes. When I work on Striders or the Hinderers, I like the Hinderer made tools. So this one's made for Hinderer XM18. This will fit all of them, including the 24. You can see your spanner there. The spanner fits in the pivot on the back to keep it still, and then this unscrews, and you can stick an Allen key or anything in there, and then this is perfectly machined to fit inside his flathead screw, so I don't mark up your, if you use too small of a flathead screwdriver, it's hard to find a perfect flathead to fit in those. And I've seen a few come through that I've worked on where you can tell they use just a smaller one. I like these tools. This one is really hard to find. This is an all titanium one that's been heat anodized and fairly expensive too. I believe they're like $250 for all titanium. But he makes them in steel, and I think the steel ones are easier to get. Here is a steel one for Striders, so that fits the Strider. Comes apart the same. There's your Allen key. I put a piece of tape on these. Pro tip. That way, if you have one of these, you don't scratch your titanium when that rubs up against your scale. Right? Cool stuff. I like them a lot. They're hard to find in titanium, but truth, they're the same. This one's a little bit lighter than this one. Cooler too, because the heat anodizing, but you know, it's just a tool. I like them. I recommend them. Buy the steel one though. I mean, unless you're going for gadget factor. Here's a cool one. Benchmade 940 in an acid wash. I get it all the time. Can I anodize aluminum? No, not yet. 940. Great little EDC knife. I should just pick one up. All my friends love them. A lot of you guys love them. Good reason. Nice and thin. Cool blade shape. All acid washed. Acid wash hardware. These are a pain to try to protect all of this inside. All the guts in there, so they still operate very smooth. Anyways, cool. That's about the most I can do right now. I could stonewash your factory anodized scale, but truth be told, stonewashing aluminum does not really turn out that well. It comes out like a, I don't know, like a kicked around can. It has like a really high metallic look. I've tried it before. I don't like it. I don't even like it when it's blasted. Blasted aluminum doesn't look that great, in my opinion. It looks like white. Yeah, it just looks funky to me. But here's a cool one too. Just had to sharpen this one. I've never seen this knife though. I've never even handled a knife by these guys. These guys were pretty big when I first started getting into knives. MOD in a big auto. Just wanted to show it off for coolness. Has the seatbelt cutter in it. Made in USA. Maybe if somebody knows a little more about this knife, they can let us know about it. I don't know how rare they are. Looks like it has a carbide breaker on the front. Nice and sharp now. I'm going to show the owner his edge. There you go. Not using a clamp. Freehand. All right. That's the end of the show. If you're still sticking around, I get it all the time. Do you have any knives for sale? I do have this guy up for sale. I like it. I'm not going to be upset if it doesn't sell, but I would sell it. I think they were $400 new. This has at least about $100 worth of work put on it. It's been carbonized. There's no stick. I've rounded this flipper off so it's not so sharp. You can barely notice that it's not a factory done mod. But now it's nice and soft for your finger to flip. You see it flips nice and hard. There's the lockup. No stick. I also rounded this little portion here because that was a little bit sharp for your thumb to push that lock bar over. Did the fade on it and acid stone wash the blade. I can't remember the specs. There's only so many of these guys made though. So, and then again, I finished all this hardware the same as I did that other Sabenza that we seen earlier. So it was all bead blasted and then satined, which gives you this high contrast right here. Check out this nice pivot. You can't get that look without doing it how I did it. It gives you that nice high contrast look. There it is. CRKT Hijinks. See the blade center's up nice. I'd like to get $450 out of it, so, and I might take a trade on it too if you have something similar. Not really looking for multiples, so I don't want a bunch of Kershaw offers or anything like that. And I don't mean to be rude, I just don't want to waste your time or my time, you know, something one-on-one trade. maybe a small Sebenza or something like that. That's it, guys. Hopefully you have a great day. We'll see you on the next video.